Hey, what is going on YouTube? This is Broke Watch Fanatic. When I decided to get married, I knew I was going to purchase watches for my groomsmen for their wedding gifts. I had to think long and hard about the type of watch they would like. After all, these objects are very personal, and if it wasn't to their liking, it would just be collecting dust. So today I want to go over those watches with you. In no particular order, the first watch that I gifted was this Yema Rallygraf Mega Quartz Panda. It is a 39mm vintage-inspired chronograph powered by Seiko's hybrid caliber VK64. The subdials are inspired by vintage race car dashboards and measure the minutes on the left and a 24-hour indicator on the right. The French-made brand has a rich history of car racing, with the birth of the Rallygraf back in 1966, and was even worn by Mario Andretti. Its short lug-to-lug of 48mm, thickness of 13.6mm, lug width of 20mm, and 100 meters of water resistance makes this a great everyday watch that's wearable among many wrist sizes. The crystal is domed, which adds 2mm to the thickness, but I don't see this as an issue when wearing it with long sleeves. It is a double-domed mineral crystal and has nice distortion along the edges of the crystal, which I think is a nice touch in keeping with the vintage-inspired theme. The steel mesh bracelet is actually one of my favorite features. It is extremely comfortable and doesn't seem to pull any hairs. The tachymeter scale is an aluminum insert and highly legible. I wish I could say the same for the 60-minute subdial, which is difficult to read at a glance. The caseback features Yema's historic coat of arms that's stamped polished with a brushed background. All in all, I'm very pleased with the quality of this watch. The pushers are solid, the mesh bracelet is 2.6mm thick and looks beefy and sturdy, yet lightweight. The buckle has the Yema logo engraved and the crown is signed. And just for good measure, Superluminova BGW9 is painted on the hands and indices. Not the best lume, but I'm glad it's there. For the price of these watches and the usual 10% discount, I think this is a very solid purchase. Next up is this Citizen Eco Drive, reference number CA7020-07A. This is a large watch coming in at 43mm in case diameter, a lug-to-lug of 51.1mm, thickness of 13.8, and a lug width of 22mm. The watch is topped off with a mineral crystal and supplied with a calfskin leather strap. My friend has been interested in this watch ever since he saw it on someone's wrist, so I made a mental note of it and found one on eBay since this model is discontinued. The champagne dial with the dark brown strap adds a touch of warmth, while the subdials add a sporty feature as it measures 1/5 of a second up to 60 minutes. The downside to this watch for me, aside from the large specs, is that the date disc sits so far back into the watch that you need to look at it head on in order to tell the date. However, the fact that this is an Eco Drive and you never need a battery to replace makes this an easy watch to choose as a grab and go. Next is the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical, the only mechanical watch in this video. This is the 38mm variant, reference number H694-09930. It measures in at 38mm in diameter, 9.8mm thin, 47mm lug-to-lug, and 20mm lug spacings. This watch is rated at 50 meters of water resistance. The movement is Hamilton's H50 caliber with a power reserve of 80 hours, ticking away at 6 beats per second. The black PVD coating and gray NATO combo works well to resemble the rugged and robust nature of the watch. Its design was inspired by Hamilton's relationship with the US government, issuing field watches to the US troops back in World War I and World War II. The entire premise of this watch was its utilitarian approach to everyday use. The black dial, contrasted with large white Arabic numerals, makes this a supremely legible watch. This particular model also adds 24-hour markings on the inner portion of the dial, which aids in measuring military time. To complete the package, Hamilton adds luminescent materials on the hands and indices for easy nighttime reading. The crown felt larger than what it really is at 6.5 millimeters. However, from my experience, the winding action is extremely pleasant and the crown feels sturdy and makes you look forward to winding it and setting the time, unlike my Speedmaster that I used to have. For a simple time-only watch with a mechanical sole, Hamilton Khaki Field is a great option. The last watch I gave to my groomsmen was this Casio G-Shock GM2100-1A. This is the half-metal version, also known as the Casio by fans of G-Shock. I measured the watch to be 44.5 millimeters from 9 to 3, with a thickness of 11.6 millimeters. The lug-to-lug distance is 49.1 millimeters, but because of the strap ends sticking out, the true lug-to-lug can vary depending on how tight you wear the watch. Your best bet is to try one of these on in person to see if it fits well on your wrist. But I have to say, this is a really good-looking watch. It comes with all of the great features you would see on any other G-Shock models, such as world time, shock resistant, stopwatch, countdown timer, 200 meters of water resistance, 3-year battery life, and many more. You have the main dial being analog with digital readout on the bottom right window, which you can switch to the date with a push of a button, and a day indicator on the left sub-dial. The dial has a vertical brushing while the bezel has circular brushing, with portions of the case being polished. The legibility is a bit difficult at night, but luckily there's a LED function. But this watch I feel will be spent mostly outdoors in the sun when you're doing daytime sports activities, so legibility isn't a big deal for me. I think this is a great summer watch with a bit of a bling factor to it. If you're looking for a cool summer watch that you can bang around without having to worry about it breaking, G-Shocks in general are a good option, but this Casio is definitely up on the list. So I hope you liked this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Not only do we create memories with the watches that we wear, but hopefully by sharing our passion with others, they can start creating memories of their own with the watches that we give them. Until next time, take care everyone.